We pressed record. No, I was saying like going to the grocery
Well,
store.
this meeting is being recorded. You're like, oh my god, now it is. Oh. Sorry.
But like going to the grocery store, it's a real I find it's a real emotional experience. Like you look at your cart, sometimes it's a real representation of you. Like I'm like, by the time I get home, I'm like, I really didn't need to buy this or get this much in one. Like I'm shopping as if I have a family of 7. But
for me, it doesn't matter.
Pudding.
Yeah. For me, it doesn't really matter what I'm going for. I'm always going to leave with cereal, some kind of like plant-based milk and vegan ice cream. Guaranteed. And then maybe like some Kettle brand chips. It's always gonna happen.
Mine's always got crisps in there, no matter what. These are my
Are crisp chips?
Yep.
It's like my favorite right now.
Ooh, brown.
I was gonna say, of course, they're salt and vinegar.
They look like the chips you would find at Winners.
Gluten-free always.
The artisan chips.
You know when you're cashing out at Winners and you see those chips and brands that you've never seen before? I feel like that's where I'd find Tilly's chips. I'm a good.
Oh, a new salt and vinegar flavor. Oh.
She's grabbing those one time. One time.
Mind your business.
All right, guys. Welcome to another week's episode of the Eat Fruit Pod. What up, EFP family?
EFP family. Hey.
We have your girl Kay. We have Killa. And if you're watching, you know Wagwan.
Well, let me put this down.
But if you're listening,
hey.
Killa.
All right. So we have a very, very, very special guest today. We have the owner and creator of Roc-a-fella. We have our favorite yogi guide, our favorite all-around resident vegan fat kid, our Ital love child, the one, the only rude gal Tilly Miss say to the world.
That was the best introduction That was the best introduction ever. Imagine that was my introduction.
Tilly needed a real one. Like, it's Tilly. You gotta give it to her.
Real thing.
You know?
How are you doing, Queen? Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you for inviting me. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you great.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, girls.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I feel like this was something that like had to be solidified in order for me to be on the show. From like before episode 1 is like, so can we have Tilly on the show?
And I was like, why are you?
I think that would be great.
I love it.
The Tilly episode before we even finish planning the show. Let's be real. So,
Sorry, say.
Listen, so we want to remind everyone this week's sponsors before we get in. So official Downtown World merch is sponsored. You can get that at www.downtownworld.com/shop, or you're able to find it on any of the landing page. So make sure to get your OG Downtown shirts or your Eat Fruit Mind Your Business shirts. And we are also sponsored by...
We have Salisi Skin for your butters and scrubs. And we also have Icy Little Things for that summertime fine. Come to me for your custom waist beads. Join the Wakandan Army one time. And last but not least, we got Big Killer with 4 A's to you on IG and .com for the merch and the NFTs, all things artful. And here we go, right into the show.
And Tilly, I know you have business going on, so you're sponsoring us, so it is an official sponsor for today. So let everyone know.
Every day.
Yes. So let everyone know.
Let everybody know Roc-a-fella.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, it's stuck.
No problem. Let everyone know about Roc-a-fella and where they can find you Because you are sponsoring us, so you're an official.
So Rastia Path, you can find me at Rasta O Path on social media, and the website as well, www.rastiapath.com. Tilly B88 is my private. Come through.
But mind your business on the private things. Don't act like you know people.
And mind your
I know. It's like decline. I'm joking.
So
And food, and then I'm like, oh.
Originally, like Killa and I had a whole show planned, and we did what Libras do, and we're ready now. So Tilly, you're gonna join this whole journey with us, but feel more than free to let us know if you gotta go early or put us on manners. But we'd love to even have your perspective on all the things we're gonna talk about today. So I don't even know where to start, Killa, because let's start off great. Black girl magic. We're saying a lot has been happening. A lot's always happening with our Black queens, but a lot's been happening more recently with like the Olympics and all these beautiful queens qualifying, some from the States, some from Jamaica, but all over the world. And it's just like epic. So most viral, I guess, at the moment is Sha'Carri, I believe her name is Sha'Carri Jackson.
Yeah.
I want to get the name correct. And this queen story, I can't even lie, I teared up a little bit. It's so inspirational because she's not always been doing track, but she's from Texas. She's been doing her thing, and her mother most recently passed away, her biological mother. And she was literally saying to a media person after she won her race and officially qualified for the Tokyo Olympics was that, she knows that she lost her mom, but she knows she has a whole family and a whole amazing unit of like support around her, and she doesn't want to like let that beat away. So I'll let a little clip play, just so that people can get a bit more perspective, because I don't think I'm paraphrasing it to get all that like emotion, and then we can definitely get like just how we all feel about what she says. So
this year has been crazy for me.
Can you hear it?
Going from just last week, losing my biological mother, and I'm still here.
What did you say? You lost your mother?
I'm still here. Last week, finding out my biological mother passed away, and still choosing to pursue my dreams, still coming out here, still making sure to make the family that I do still have on this earth proud. And the fact that nobody knows what I go through. Everybody has struggles, and I understand that. But y'all see me on this track, and y'all see the poker face I put on, but nobody but
Queen. So what do you guys think about that? Like, how are you guys feeling?
She's powerful,
Okay,
man.
so you're going first.
I've been watching her for a few weeks. She's powerful. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's just amazing. Every single time I watch her, I'm just like, yes! Like I'm rooting for her, like on a different level, you know?
Yeah.
It's beautiful for someone to show strength in all of these situations, you know, someone that we can't even understand yet. And still show such belief and perseverance, and I'm so excited to see her in Tokyo. She's gonna smash it.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. What about you, Killa?
She has this energy, not even just in the fact that she was all emotional. Like she just has an energy in the things that she was saying that can't stop, won't stop. That like I know there's something better for me, so I'm just gonna keep it moving, even though it is a big deal. But something about what she said made me think of a Bible verse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Acts chapter 2, verse 17. And I don't know why it made me think of that. It's like, in the last days, God said, I will pour out my spirit onto all people. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams. And it's like, I hear these people and everybody has these testimonies. And when she says like, you wouldn't even know what I'm going through in real life, I'm like, but God got you. And that's why you're here, because everybody has to see the God in you right now and like what it looks like. So yeah, she's super inspirational. And I love the fact that her hair is orange. She's a black ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another way she's going down that track with everything.
Everything.
Everything give.
And the tats and everything, like
hair, everything.
everything. I feel thoroughly represented. And I just want to pour my spirit out for her at that point and be like, yo, take my energy too. Get it.
She's got everyone's energy, that's for sure. Yeah.
I just like, I look at her and I think about, you know, Killa and I in previous episodes, we talked about just entrepreneurship and the signs are the things that really make like successful people or people that really, you know, don't succumb to their circumstances and just like push beyond their limits. And like she said, she's like, she's not stopping. Like her mom passed away. She could have been like, you know what? I'm quitting this race. I can't go on, whatever. She found strength somewhere within and was like tapped into that and was like, no, I'm going to complete this race. And as soon as she finished, she walked, like camera people had to get out of her way. She went straight to her grandmother, embraced her, and just was bawling. And I can't lie, like it got me a little tearful too, but it's just like, look at that, the lineage. Her mom may not be here, but she was there in spirit, and her grandmother was there. And we think about the women in our lives and like how much they mean to us, sometimes more than they know, despite, you know, what's happening. And it's just like, that was just so powerful and beautiful to see. And a reminder to us as Black women, like we have each other.
If nothing else, yeah. And there's so many instances that pop up where you're just like, you meet a strong Black woman who has an open heart, and you're just like, that's my blessing. I'll keep walking through my life, and that's my blessing. I think it was Hello, It's V. She had this post basically saying that she was having a shit fuck day, and she every Black woman that she met, like they gave her some positivity in some way, shape, or form. And by the end of it, like she was smiling, and her quote was like, I mean, Black women, just cause I mean Black women. And I was like, yeah, that is what it comes down to. Like your sisters raise you up. Your sisters are the ones that have your back when your man's moving funny. You know what I mean? Like it's your sisters.
Facts.
Or your uman them, not just your sisters. Your uman.
No, but when you said sisters, I'm just thinking Black women, not even like from a, you know. And it's funny because when we talking, it came to my mind while you were just explaining, but like I think we were talking about the fact of like just, well, this is perfect, right? Our next topic we want to kind of talk about was Black nepotism, right? And it's so beautiful to see, you know, all these Black people that have their businesses and they're growing their businesses, and their businesses are passing year 1, their businesses are passing year 2. So it's growing to a point where we are starting to hire out and things like that for different services and things that we need. So it's really beautiful to now, we as the boss or the leaders of our entities and what we have going on, to be conscious of who we're letting on our team, who we're hiring, who we're tasking to do things, even if it's as simple as sourcing materials or things like that. Because now we are able, I don't see Black nepotism as a bad thing. I feel like my whole life I've grown up in others' nepotism. And now that we have enough businesses, Black people are booming. We're always booming, but I mean like financially speaking, and that financial buying power, all those things, we have the power now to be like, just like, for example, Beyonce did with that Adidas deal, or no, she was with someone else and then they didn't have all Black, or they didn't have a Black person on the team. And she was like, well, I'll see you guys next December, and went elsewhere with your deal. Like, I'm not bad at that.
I feel like that ends up coming up over and over, is that like, it's always a good example to see people walk out of situations with their dignity, like just pick up their dignity and walk the fuck out. In terms of like Black nepotism, you'll see it in different places, but overall in the business arena that you described, I feel like we still have room and space to actually grow into even having that situation. Just off the strength that we are kind of relearning harmony within ourselves. and like looking to the left and not looking at this other Black person as competition, but realizing that this is your ally in all things, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like with that, like that bit of harmony needs to be in before we can say that we fully have like that nepotism. Because nepotism is a little bit of a blind movement. Like you're blindly co-signing these people because.
Yes and no. Nepotism, according to the definition, is giving, I don't want to say unqualified, but people, no matter their merit, a position. And how many times have I been in a job, worked my ass off, and the boss's like nephew or son, someone comes in and they get a position that like I'm low-key struggling to get, and I've been making my dues, and they don't even know where the staplers are kept and things of that nature, you know? Yeah. So I'm totally fine with, now I know you have a business. I'd be like, Killa, if I had a child, I'd be like, Killa, can my kid help you with shipping? And I don't know, maybe buy them lunch, or like, I'm okay with that, rather than yeah, you'd still say I'm hiring, but someone no, or you choose is gonna get it. We lived through that our whole entire life.
Yeah, I agree with that. But for me, it's just like that mindset. There's certain mindsets we still have to kill in order to have that mindset. And the way you said it is great because it sounds super like tangible. Like, hey, oh my girl, we're sitting out in the backyard. My son needs something to do.
It is, yeah.
And it should be like that. And I agree. That's a beautiful thing. But I don't see that being like something that we take on just now. I don't feel like that's for now. Just off the strength that like there's mindsets that have to shift first in order for us to even be able to think like that, like on a one-a-ways or on a regular basis.
Yeah, there's a way to go. There's a way. Yeah, there's a way to go. It's not happening everywhere, that's for sure.
But my thing is, it's okay, 2022, 23, 24, it's going to look different. Because as I said, right now, BigKilla.com is growing, like over 200% growth, like at a rate that at a certain point, you're going to need help. It can't just be, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of us going through that. Me with DWNTWNWRLD.com, Tilly with Rastopath, everything going on. So there's a lot more of my friends now that I can look and say, I know they have this business, I know they have that business, where in 2019, 2018, 2017, it didn't really look like that. So now that majority of us have gotten over that year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, even 5 year mark in our business, you know, when it comes to the business, like growth model and stuff, if at some point on that hierarchy now, you need an assistant, you need maybe someone to run your email, like whatever tasks are outside of you. So yes, I'm going to go down the whole cousin list, the whole Killa, did you say your sister, da 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 da. Yo, Tilly, did you say da da? Like, I'm gonna go through that whole list before I go on Job Bank or something and be like, put out the ad to everyone.
Word.
I'm not saying like, I'm not gonna blindly just be like, okay, let any person just come and do my, like, obviously they gotta have sense, but yeah, like too many times have I been in interviews or at jobs and I'm like, I had that feeling like, oh my God, I'm not gonna get this. Like, look at all these white people here.
Word. Yeah, I like the ideal of it. I like when you pray things and then they happen. So I feel like that's definitely a thing for the future. And I also like the angle that you're coming from on the beer businesses are going to be growing. So there's going to be a need for it. I'm just hoping that in the meantime, in between time, we're tackling like the ugly bits. Like we're tackling the shadow work. We're tackling the decolonization. We're tackling the decolonization. We're tackling the decolonization. Because all these things have always been here to us.
That is part, in my opinion, that is part of it.
It is part of it.
The pandemic
100%.
2018, 2019, they want to say, okay? So we're in 2021. how many people do you know, Black people do you know that said they started a business or started to do something when the pandemic started or somewhere in between that?
Yep.
So now that we're at 2020, literally, it's already 2022. Not trying to instill fear in people. We're about 6 months away from a new year. Like, so that means mans are already in their second to third year of their operation.
I feel like we're being generous when we're putting it that way, just because like there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that we shouldn't necessarily be responsible for, but we are. That's a hard thing for a lot of people to chew. When you've been a victim for a very long time, your mindset, and like a lot of people are still asleep in their mindset. They're doing these things, and I'm so grateful for the reset. The Great Reset was a beautiful thing for the Black community, for Black people all around the world. There's all sorts of prophecy that's coming true. I rest on that. But in the grand scheme of it, that's a lot of pain. Like, think about it just in your everyday life. You're almost 30. Tilly, you're gonna be what, 34? 33. Sorry to air out your age and add a year. But like, take in how much.
Don't look it though.
Hey. Black girl magic. All day. But yeah, like take in how much things you've experienced that were painful, that might have affected your central nervous system from you can remember till now. And that's just one portion of a lifetime. But we have like 400 years of generational trauma running through our DNA. That's a lot of work that needs to be done. Like, we're out here healing our ancestors. Pardon?
So does everyone else. Now, before y'all come for me, because everyone's still operating within those roles. On the opposite side, the people who ran us for those 400 years, they're still operating within that generational curse and that mentality. So they
don't think that their generational curse is a problem.
But
so there's no urgency for them to change any of their habits or any of their actions, any of their synergies. They don't think they should have to change those things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's what's affecting us. Partially, that's part of what's affecting us, is the fact that they have their synergies, and their synergies are literally built to disarm and disenfranchise and just like discombobulate us. So they don't want to stop discombobulating us. Our mindset has to be completely different, because we can't keep playing the same game if it's a sight game. You know what I mean? So like your mentality literally has to shift. We're hurting. I have to sit down for a whole fucking year and just hurt as a Black person. Just hurt in order for me to access
peace,
the education that I got to run my own business. You understand? Like, it's gonna happen 100%, but a lot of things need to be addressed, and no one's addressing them for us. So how are we addressing them?
Facts.
And that's why I really appreciated the Jay Barnett situation, because that space, which wasn't necessarily available before for somebody who didn't know how to access or heal or work on themselves, is there now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, things are growing, but healing is one of those things, like, you don't control the pace that you heal at. For Ninja thing. Your healing comes as it comes. You do have to actively participate in it, but like, you can't speed up that clock.
And like, I definitely agree with what you're saying, but I feel like on all sides of it, like, everyone is dealing with that decolonization. You're right. White people, other people, they don't see it like us, that it's something wrong, right? But I feel like with us, the conversation is always what we got to do before I can help you. And we don't like put that much like credentials towards like all the people outside the race that we trust for all the things that we do in our life.
That's definitely a factor. But I'm dealing with human beings on a regular basis in our community who have wool pulled over their eyes by choice. And it worked in the old world. It didn't work in the old world, but it was a way of you could keep it moving. You can't really keep it moving now. Or like maybe you should take this time to think you can't keep it moving now and like unpack some things. Unpacking is hard. Sometimes you feel like you're unpacking your own flesh, like you have to do it.
Healing work or growth work.
Healing work. And I have to understand that I'm the first person in my family, or at least in my bloodline, to bother to heal.
Facts.
And 2020 came, the lights came on, and I have to look at it and say, my parents were still in a colonial mindset.
Facts.
And when they were fighting, like we were talking, those innate things that are in your little girls, your little girls, like that tenacity that they have in them, that like, don't touch my dress, that standing that they have in it, where they try to beat it out of them, or they try to discipline it out of them. And you have to realize that like, that's you dealing with your parents' colonial mind, because you're dealing with your grandparents' colonial mind. And what's been coming to me in the last few years, 2 years before, after pandemic, is we're not doing that work. We're putting it aside. We are the result of all these generations leaving it to us. They still have slavery pain. Slavery pain. We still have slavery pain, B. We're Jamaicans.
Facts.
We don't necessarily like homosexuality because our trauma is all the way into our DNA to say that we've experienced backbreaking. And there's a whole like documentary about it saying that like, yes, Jamaica was a torture colony, but it was also the place where the occurrence of backbreaking happened the most, which is the sodomizing of a Black man.
Yeah.
We are still traumatized all the way down to that. Why do you think all these women are missing and turning up in like ditches in Jamaica?
Yes.
Why? We are savage.
Yes.
Every other island, oh, well, you know, Jamaicans are ignorant. Jamaicans are this. We have a lot in our blood.
A lot.
We have a lot. And it does need it. Something needs to happen.
A lot.
And I want to have that love for my people. I want to have that natural love. Yeah, I am going to take your kid. Why wouldn't I take your kid? I'm going to give your kid something to do so that cops can't find them on streets and roads and things.
Yeah.
But there's other things that need to be peeled back. And for me, I have to look at that and say, yeah, I would do what you're saying. But I would do what you're saying because I've gotten to the point where I can think about my Blackness, but also my Blackness was always represented from I was a child. My mom made sure I was represented. So me and my Blackness, I'm always whole and complete in my Blackness. Are we all there? How are we helping each other get there? And that's kind of like what I want to see first. It's like, here, like I'm putting out my hand, you take my hand. I want to see that first. Like it's that healing. And I can't skip over it because I know we're strong and I know we're the metahumans and I know we're the people of the sun. And I know every time we walk out, our melanin kicks in and it saves our asses and all that great shit. And we don't crack and we this and we that. Like I get it. But we are whole and complete people. And that's part of the spectrum. Like you have all your posts and that's a post and that's the post for right now. So it's cool to be on that, but it's like, we didn't get there because you didn't pass this post. If this was the never ending story, the fucking gate with the laser beam eyes and the motion detection would have done fried you by now. You wouldn't have even been able to get to the fucking mirror challenge to face yourself. Like
it's part of a huge part of that decolonization is the parenting aspect, right? And it's funny you brought that part up because I was just having the conversation with someone where it was just like, I forgot what we were watching, but then I was explaining to them, because like I've worked with children for over, like, children from ages like 4 weeks to like 16 years old for over like 10 years. So being like in that setting and having to do program planning and dealing with they were rich kids, but just dealing with them and seeing the type of atmosphere they're around, and though nannying and stuff of that nature, like just seeing how they deal with their kids, or certain things that they instill that I never saw anywhere around my upbringing. For example, like something I knew was popular at this private club that I used to work at. It's like a racket club, is that they had like parenting classes all the time, specialists coming in and teaching parents how to deal with their children, how to teach them certain things. Huge favorite word of theirs, redirecting. Like for us, it was just discipline, spanking, where white people redirect, right? Your child is being misbehaved with this, redirect them to something like, and I'm just like, okay, those little things really do help to teach us how to interact and deal with others as we grow up, right? And Kelly and I were also speaking about Father's Day, right? And before I say what I want to say, is just like that aspect of the parenting field, and just like how important that figure is to your upbringing in the world and understanding how the world really works. And when that's missing, it definitely makes it harder for you to learn certain things that maybe you could have known had that energy been around. I'll say that to start. How are you? What were you thinking, Tilly?
In that rain. So I was thinking like rain cloud, bet stay there, because otherwise I'm going to be in darkness and I'm going to have to get up and turn some lights on. That's what I was actually thinking. I was like, what is happening in England? Why is it 25th and the skies are black and rain is coming and it's cold? That's what I was actually thinking. I was talking about fathers, which is interesting.
Yeah. But it's just like, okay, I was speaking with Killa earlier this week, and I was kind of like, everyone has their issues when it comes to their parents in some regard, in some way, And I was just looking through my timeline and seeing like how these women were dealing with our kings. Whether they're at a high peak in life or low peak in life. And I was just like, posting the square is in a sense parallel to how y'all are maneuvering right now on the algorithms, letting the world know like this is how we feel and treat our kings.
Yeah, it was a sad day for me personally, because there maybe I have maybe two friends that have parents that are together, and every single other friend has a dad story, right? But there are, and yes, that doesn't make it okay, but there are still good fathers. I have a lot of friends that are single fathers. I have friends that are doing it themselves. Yeah, doing it themselves. And I know some amazing fathers, and I think it's difficult because there's so much trauma around fatherhood, and how especially in the it's not even especially in the Black community though, because I do know stories on both sides, but it's just sad that we can't say, there was all like this fuck Father's Day, we don't need Father's Day, it should all be about mothers. And it's like, yeah, most mums I know brought their kids up single-handedly, but there are fathers out there that are doing it well and are trying their hardest. And I think it's sad that we can't just appreciate that, and we always have to bring our trauma to everyone else, like bring our trauma to the children that have lost fathers, bring our trauma to fathers that are doing well and really struggling, but are trying to do as hard as they can. And just, it's a hard day in general, because, you know, I have conversation with people like, you know, you don't need to be posting that. Why are you posting? Like, why are you, like, there's so many dads out there that are, and they don't communicate as much as women either. So they're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, it's Father's Day, this is a day for me, woo, you know what I mean? Like, and then they're just getting all this backlash of how shit dads are and how they can't do as good as mums, and it's just, and as well as it being, it's because it's mental health month, isn't it? I think this month, this week, yeah. It ties inside for that. It coincides with that for me, because men don't speak out as much. Exactly. So like, I think my friend said today, like over 70% of suicide males. Yeah, so you have males that are in trouble and need help and need healing, and then you throw kids into that, and they're trying, or, you know, maybe some of them aren't trying. In all fairness, you know, a lot of us have had crap dads, but again, there are still good dads and there are still good men. And instead of pushing down all the bad, why don't we bring up all the good and help them be better? Help our men around us, our brothers around us heal, instead of always trashing them and bashing them and bringing them down and saying they're not man enough and saying they're not this enough and saying they're not as good as women. It's just like, I really noticed that on Father's Day this year more than I normally do. And it is tough because everyone's got so many traumas and triggers from their childhood. These dads that leave, and dads that don't do anything, dads that don't support, dads that, you know, cheat, dads that have another family, like so many stories like that. But they're on the flip side of that, even if it's just 20% of the men that aren't like that, can't we see them for them as well on this day and just be like, do you know what? You know what I mean? Well done. Like, not even well done, but yes to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, praise the people that are doing good. Do you know what I mean? And then and help the ones that are doing bad, because trashing them isn't going to make them any better. Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely a hard day.
Preach.
Yeah. You don't get it as much with the Mother's Day. Oh. You get all this like negative, like women. It's like Father's Day is like, dads are awful. It's just like, oh my God, not all dads are awful though. Like, and again, it's trauma from there. The majority of them is because the majority of women sat in circles and talked. Men don't do that. So we've enabled ourselves to heal. We're already in that process. Men don't do that. So let's promote that and get them to talk about the issues and their triggers and traumas and whatever else they've dealt with. Because I don't know, my father went through so much. He's one of 9, 4 or 5 brothers. They all went through a lot of bad stuff. So I know even that in itself, that's just one family of men that, you know, I wouldn't say it's hard. Yeah, he didn't necessarily raise us. So he spoke words into us, and he was there spiritually, and he spoke to us when they broke up, but he wasn't there physically, financially, like my mum was. So again, I could slate him all day and be like, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. But instead, I'm trying to look, okay, what has he gone through and what's he trying to do? And as his daughter, like, I love like Willow Smith and Will Smith's relationship, because she tells him about himself. Yeah. No, actually, Dad, How many women do that in a way that is positive criticism to help them grow, instead of just bringing them down? Oh, you're waste, you're this, you're that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's I don't think it's ever too late if you really want it. Yeah. Anyway, that's my rant about Father's Day, because it's definitely a hard one this year, because I saw a lot of my friends and people that I know just like blatant dads, and it's just like, this is not the energy that it's not nice for the people that are doing well and trying their hardest, and the single dads. Maybe they've lost a mom, or maybe the woman went off and cheated this time round, and I don't know. There's lots of different situations. Can't slate everybody for the majority of fathers, you know. But yeah. Anyway, that's my rant about dads.
I was thinking about what Killa was saying earlier as well. And I was thinking, like, for me growing up, the only man that I ever knew that I heard speaking vocally, their opinion, always saying what's on their mind, is the pastor at church. All the other men, I need to always just be quiet. Like, I don't remember hearing them speak a lot. It was just sit down, be quiet, and provide. If you're not providing, listen to how much of a dog shit you are.
And listen to that in itself. Listen to what we've told men they have to do. Look at what we put on them to tell them that they have to, as the masculine energy, go out and provide. Go, you work, you go out, you provide, you can be a man. That's what we've ingrained into men. Don't cry, man up. That's what we've ingrained into these fathers.
Yeah.
But now you want them to be nurturing, respectful, emotional, sensitive, be there for you, talk to you, do all the things, you know what I mean? All this emotional intelligence they don't have, because no, man up, go out, make money, work, come back. That's what fathers have been told for generation upon generation. And like, that is one of the problems, 100%.
Legit. Like, you're cussing the man anytime he's in your presence, and then like be mad that he won't come around. I wouldn't want to come around you either. I'm not rushing to come home. I'm not rushing to be in that space. Like, it's the same way I would feel when I was living with my parent. You know, those times when you're like, I need to get my own place, because it's just like, yo, I'm actually out here working now, and I'm not coming home to deal with this. Like, but shout out to our fathers doing it, and the men that haven't figured it out yet, I'm shouting you guys out as well, because as I said, the more I'm maturing, and I agree with like everything you ladies are saying about it, I'm just like, it was really sad, and I too fall a part of that category of the years that I can look back, and I definitely called my dad and emptied the clip on him, and I like had to apologize, and I was like, though it was facts, it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And I thank God that I had a mother the way I did, in the sense that even when I was flying off the roof at my dad, she wouldn't condone it. Actually, I would get disciplined for it. She wouldn't allow it. And when I look back at it, I was like, yo, XYZZZ, like, how are you so like chill throughout the situation? Like, but that was an example I could say for sure in my life that I seen a woman where a man wasn't really doing what he was supposed to be, but she didn't let her personal relationship with the dude affect like our relationship, whether it was every 3 months, every couple of years, or a couple of weeks. Whenever you want to see her, you can see her. Just as long as I know she ain't gonna be dead and abused when I get her back, I'm gonna see a father. And like, I feel like a lot more women and people in partner relationships do, because there are relationships I know with gay people, lesbian people, and they may not have, you know, made it through after the adoption process, and now this kid is like growing up in all this trauma. Like, nah. Killa, what are your like thoughts and feelings?
I feel like what Tilly said was almost serendipitous, because it was just like paralleling everything that we were talking about, like all down to Willow and then Will Smith. I'm just like, right? Wow. And that on the flip side, I'm very passionate about being Black. So anything Black that gets brought up, I'm instantly just like, what? Yes, rah. And seeing that there are healers out there. Like, I need to remember that even in hindsight, like there are healers out there. There are people who have been illuminated at a different time in order to be able to activate now. Like, there's a space and place for everything, and we're getting there, you know? And that's kind of what that made me think about. But also, when you were saying that you like emptied out the clip, I thought about my sister, because I was like, yeah, the youngest, like she emptied out. She emptied. Yeah,
very emotional for me. I from the jump, my mom would know, yo, an emotional day is coming.
Yeah.
Out of whack. But nobody ever really sat with me and was like, you know, in life, this is sometimes how things go with men. This is this. Da, 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 da. I was just told about like Ephesians 6, you gotta relax.
Good chapter to give you though, to like take you through your life. But yeah, I was thinking, I was like, I've never emptied the clip on my father. And it's not that we've always had a very open level of communication. And once I got past certain issues with him, I didn't necessarily have to think of him as that great authority. But that being said, like, I was able to talk to him without emotion. So I would like, as long as I was able to talk to him in truth, I didn't feel like I needed to wow out. And that worked out in the long run because
we remind them of what they're running away from.
Even in that, but like my dad has kind of like turned over a new leaf in his life. And he kind of like, he missed a lot. And he can't play catch up, but like he has to, like we sometimes as his children have to bridge his reality to be like, yeah, you want to be Cliff Huxtable. Yeah. But like we ain't never been Theo, Denise, and Rudy. Like, ain't no Rudy over here. But also we're all so like you have some like maneuvering to do. And I don't know if all of my siblings talk to him like that. But for me, I don't ever have a problem with him because like I could look at him square and just be like, honestly, here's why I don't agree with you. Here's why I don't agree with you. And his response to me is usually like, well, we need to do better.
Well, you know, that conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago privately, to be honest, that's a lot of what helped ground me. And honestly, since that point, since we had that conversation until now, where it was just like what sentiments I was feeling towards my parents, and you just kind of having that talk with me like, yo, it's you've done your work, they have to meet you where they're at. And it's not the part for me, I guess I would get I definitely would get highly emotional, a lot of toxic responses between us. The dynamic, the lines would blur a lot of times because of my lack of respect, because I felt disrespected or not protected, I guess, as a child should in certain reforms. So I'm just like, why should I listen? Why should I, which I'm sure a lot of us can relate to. But to be honest, that conversation of just being like, and I said it to one of my parents, I was just kind of like, yo, this is where I'm at in life. I love you. I forgive you for like the things you've done to like make me not feel so great about you. And had you have not had the title you have in your life, we probably would not know each other. But like, I'm ready to talk about it when you're ready. But I'm not going to do that whole toxic thing of yelling, coming to the house, the WhatsApp rude, like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say, I love you. You're okay. Everything's good. All right. When you're ready to talk about it, I am here. I am right on the other side of the door, right when you open it. And having that conversation with you, like, really, like, you don't even know. It really helped. And I'm just like, wow, I'm literally turning 30 this year, and it took that long for it to hit me like that hard. But God just has a way of, he knows he's doing it in his time. But I'm so grateful for that. And that piggies back to the sisterhood and just all the moving parts within our Blackness that just help us to be the best version of that we can. Because I found a sister in you to be like, yo, this is something I kind of do know about, and this is a better way to go about it. Not necessarily for them, but for you and your path of like growing.
Honestly, I'm just so happy for the day when Black people figure out what they were doing 500 years ago.
Well, we were being Black people. We're nice. We're welcoming.
Yeah, but the whole point of the system was to trick us into like not being ourselves. and that went across the board for everybody. But like the site plays that were made for us to be so distracted, like that has to be a model. Sometimes when I see people and they talk about their wealth model and how you attain wealth, I'm just like, do you really want to follow this? And I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying I don't do the stocks. I'm not saying I'm not into those things, but I'm like, should we be putting so much weight on this way of attaining, where you feel like you have to be part of that 1% that has like the most?
Yeah, I guess it's this is a beautiful conversation. So I'm hoping that you guys at home, if you're if this hitting you, please join the conversation. Make sure you hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Let us know how you feel in the comments. I'll definitely ask you guys in the DMs as well. But it's and I feel like the more we're having this, right? You know, because I know once I put this on social media to be like, I'm not sure I'm gonna write it yet, to be like, you know, we discuss Father's Day. I'm sure 95% of people expectancy is gonna be to think that we were maybe saying men ain't shit on here. But instead we gave a different perspective, not minimalizing like other people, but just being like, yo, we gotta do better. Like words, we're spelling, we're casting spells, and like the more and more we're seeing that is the more it's gonna ring true throughout like the generations and not stop.
Change your narrative. It's you can be the person that changes your family dynamic. You know, instead of always, you know, that there are very rare situations where there is an ideal. Oh, you got this, you know, mother or father, or mother or mother, or father or father, or whatever the situation is. But there's that then brings up this child, and everything's perfect, and they go to school and they get a great job, and all the family's happy, and they eat dinner every night together on the table. It's very rare. But we can bring that. Our generation can bring that. And I think you can only bring that if you identify your trauma and know that, okay, well, this is how my parents did it. They did it the best of their ability because of their trauma, because they've had trauma, and their parents did too, and their parents did as well.
Yeah.
But if we can at least say, okay, well, I'm going to change it. The only way we can change it is by healing our trauma that we've received from them and helping them remove theirs, because our grandchildren are then going to be in the same situation. It passes down, it passes down, it passes down, and then you just have negativity upon negativity upon negativity.
Thanks.
You can't keep blaming all the time. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't do anything. It just makes you angry, it makes you sad, it makes you upset. Yeah, no, I don't like dads. Yeah, no, the crap. It's like, well, that's not going to be forever, because you're going to have children. And if you don't, your friends are going to have children, and that's what you're inflicting on all those people. It's just not fair. It's not fair if you want to continue in a world where everyone's working together.
Yeah.
It doesn't make no sense. Just bringing more and more drama.
Facts.
So yeah, it's definitely a tough day. Well,
speaking of brotherhood and camaraderie, I'm gonna choose my words as carefully as possible with this one, but TMZ recently reported that, let me say it correctly, but TMZ recently reported that Roc-a-fella Records sues Dame Dash for allegedly trying to sell NFT, non-fungible token, of Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, as a headline from Rolling Stone. The articles have been blasting TMZ, I'll just read a little synopsis just so that, you know, everyone kind of has. But according to Rolling Stone, they said, Roc-a-fella Records has sued its co-defender, Dame Dash, for allegedly trying to mint and sell the copyright for Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt as a non-fungible token. According to the Compliment to the complaint obtained by Rolling Stone, Dash planned to sell an NFT of the Reasonable Doubt copyright at an auction on the platform Superfarm, which was set to place June 23rd through 25th. Roc-a-fella claimed it sent letters to Superfarm and Dash stating the sale was improper and requesting the auction be canceled. While Superfarm did cancel the sale, the label maintains that Dash is in the process of finding another venue to consummate this improper transaction. Speaking of Rolling Stone, Dash slammed the lawsuit and claimed it was full of inaccuracies. Dash said he wasn't trying to sell an NFT in reasonable doubt, but rather his stake in Roc-a-fella Records after the label supposedly tried to purchase it at a low price. Just to give a little bit more reference before we dig into it, TMZ also said that Alex Spiro, the Powerhouse attorney, Damon planned to sell the album as an NFT at since canceled auction, but the company is worried Damon Dash will try to find a blah blah blah. In the suit, RAF Roc-a-fella Records claims Damon is frantically scouting for another venue to make the sale and believes he's looking to cash in ASAP on the recent NFT craze. And Roc-a-fella Records asking a court to step in and stop Damon from going through with the auction, and it wants Dash to turn over any NFTs of reasonable doubt he may have already minted. Who?
I love it. Hip hop beef went tech. We out here. Like and like it's some Dame is Dame. We all know Dame is always gonna be in his feelings. Like nobody loves Dame because Dame has been kissing babies and freeing deers from captivity. We love Dame because Dame's a fucking asshole. And it was really smart, but which one is he doing? Did he NFT Reasonable Doubt, or is he trying to NFT his stake in Roc-a-fella and then his piece of Reasonable Doubt? Because one of them, I'm like, go ahead, do that shit. The other one, I'm like, why are you touching my money? If there's 3/3 and you're only 1/3, like who are you to touch 2 other people's money? But you're Dame Dash, so like, play on.
What are you thinking, Tilly? Are you into any of this NFT, crypto stuff at all?
No.
I feel
add. No.
Thanks.
Listen, this is for me being like someone that's like hip hop is my life. Like it's what I intake, entertainment, everything. That was like my source of like, this is huge. This is huge in my perspective. Like this is definitely, I know a lot of people are talking about Mount Rushmores and stuff. I feel like this is one of these when it comes to the hip hop the culture, period. Because this is the first time that these are niggas that, and this is just my opinion, love Hov, love Dame. These are niggas that we looked up to coming up, right? Not looked up to, but this is the music we were bumping.
Growing up.
Right? We were influenced, like this was the music of our very influential years coming up, right? So I was joking with Killa when we were kind of talking about this, and I was like, yo, niggas went from arguing about, yo, that nigga wearing socks and sandals to NFTs and shit. So at least the scalability of the beef is on a much higher level, which is like amazing. Like we're in a space where like hip hop and tech just it's orgasmic.
And like we're low key running through tech. Like Nas is out here balling in the mall. Like we're out here. We're out here.
It's beautiful.
This is sexy for me. Like as long, I don't know, I feel like they're grown men and they they know what they're trying to get into. This is New York beef to me. Like, this is old school New York beef. It's kind of sad that it had to be like friend or foe, state your biz kind of shit, but I'm still here for it.
Well, I was trying to be as optimistic as I can about everything because, as I said, I have love and major respect for both of these gentlemen. They're both like top when it comes to this. And I was like, all right, on one side, yes, everyone knows they currently, I don't want to say have beef, but like it's not publicly known that they're rocking with each other, right? And they've been, you know, low-key going through Damon, you know, jigging on what they've been going through throughout the years. But now, as Dame, and I think somewhere it was read that he's 1/3 part owner for Roc-a-fella. Now, me sitting at home, I'm not fully saying I'm not focused on what you got going on, nigga, but as being part owner of one of like the largest things on my resume, and all of this is going on, business-wise, I feel like, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I try to NFT it? Why wouldn't I try to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still a part of this. Now, in that process of thinking, I'm not going to deny that I feel like maybe a smudge of it was like, I know this is going to cheese you, but I can do it. Now, with with that also being said, a lot of people are talking about a lot of things that I just eat fruit and mind your business. But the best I can, what I will say is just like, come on, if you were Dame and you were part owner of Roc-a-fella, like business-wise, like Killa, right now, today, you have 1/3, Tilly, you have 1/3 of Roc-a-fella. You hear Roc-a-fella, you know what that means.
I like this analogy.
Everything going off. If you're looking at it, you're like, yo, true say, I could probably take this album cover, maybe this video that I did. To this day, I will go on YouTube and watch clips from tours that they did, behind the scenes, Jigga's change clothes, like all these different things that before YouTube was YouTube and niggas were vlogging what they're vlogging, or niggas are taking what they're taking now and NFTing it. Dame Roc-a-fella was doing that.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask the question again. Is he NFTing Reasonable Doubt? Or is he NFTing his stake in Roc-a-fella and therefore his third of Reasonable Doubt? Because those are those are completely different scenarios. And yeah, I can see Dash doing it 100%.
Reasonable doubt.
But he doesn't own all of it. So is he? So that that doesn't to me that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Because for NFT, I don't need to own. And this is where the conversation thickens, because right now in this space, similar to shit like air, like I'm trying to like, because I know I get really excited, I get my whole nerd bag, and then it just gets like lost. But like, okay, for example, a thing that niggas don't really talk about, but when I'm in my rabbit hole, I like to look at this stuff like this: air rights, right? Now, if I have a building, you want to come build a building now. Niggas that really are a part of this industry, they know they got their air rights. That's how you're getting your views, that it's never being obstructed over the years, because they've more than likely bought the air rights. So the next building man, even if he decides to build over there or whatever, he cannot go more than 8 stories high, more than this amount high, because I have that space. And that is an area that is a business that I can kind of parallel to this, to think like, okay, this is a space where niggas were just doing construction everywhere, and niggas didn't think about how high or low stuff should be, or no, this can't block this, or like you can never build a building to block the CN Tower from this angle. Like, that is an industry where people, as they built and grew, they had to learn how to maneuver through that space, because that was the space that wasn't really there. Now I'll draw that back to NFT, just kind of bring some like, you know, perspective to it for people, where it's just like, this is a space where it's very new. There's not a lot of policing. There's not a lot of rules. It's non-government regulated. So it's for the people, by the people. Making sense somewhat?
Oh, yeah, 100%. But really with the blockchain, it's a transparent feature, but you shouldn't be able to write something to the blockchain if you can't prove that you have that ownership over it. There's everything about reasonable doubt is gonna have like credits for it.
So where's the rule that says I gotta 100%?
So basically,
that's where the feelings part comes in, because there's no rules to it. So when Roc-a-fella decides now to sue,
but it doesn't mean there's no rules to it. There's transparency to the blockchain, and like I was watching Star. Shout outs to Star. Like what was
like
it?
Daniels?
No, Buck Wild and Star from like back in the day on like probably Hot 97, and like Dame Dash had to whoop his ass because he said some whack shit about Aaliyah.
Sounds about right.
Okay, well, woo-woo. So I was watching him, and he was just like, the word transparency, like you gotta be careful with it, because like it's one of those words. And even when it comes to the blockchain, transparency is what the blockchain gives you, but in order for you to get it, it's like you are supposed to be voted in to do it. Somebody should have been able to flag the fact that he does not have 100% ownership, and he doesn't. There's a whole corporation around it, but also he himself has come out and said it. And yeah, he would have been, the reason why he did it is because he would have been able to get away with it. That's the only reason why he would have done it. But he would have turned around and had to pay all that money back to Biggs and Jay-Z and Roc-a-fella.
Yeah, and that's what the argument is. No, he wouldn't. Whatever he would make from that NFT, they could sue for it. They could try.
That's what they could do. Exactly.
But he wouldn't automatically have to come out the gate and give that. And that's where
and that's why he's like, I'm going to do it. Because at the end of the day, all you can do is come for your bread after.
And that's where the lawyer game. How good is your lawyer?
So here's my next question. What happened? What changed? Why all of a sudden, and it's not just that, the NFT craze. Why you went for reasonable doubt? Y'all niggas did a bag of things, but you went for reasonable doubt.
That's what
that's my thing. Like, you whipped your dick out. What happened? I'm trying to figure out what happened before. It's not just the fact that like the man saw the goose run by and was like, I am all of a sudden in need of a golden egg. That's really huge. And for you to be even to get it to the blockchain, like you put in some months on it. Like you put in work from time for that shit.
Yes, but no, right? Because as I said, I'm going to say it again. I love both of these gentlemen.
And mine.
It's like we're so like nervous because I don't want nobody like this is just opinions we're giving based on what we're seeing. But as I said, I'm Dame Dash, and the biggest thing in my fucking portfolio is reasonable doubt. Niggas know me for that. We just watched Biggs and them do a whole anniversary thing with merch and this and that and this and that. Did Dame get a slice of that? I don't know. I'm just throwing questions out there. Did he get a slice of that? Right?
And now, under Roc-a-fella, he probably did get a slice of that.
But I don't think so.
Really?
I think they did that whole thing when Jigga had the band behind him, and they did.
I feel like those niggas know to be right when it comes to like their deals. To me, those men seem like men that make actually, like they might not make fair business deals, but they make clean business deals.
That's what I'm saying to you. Like through my research, I'm saying niggas made that bread, and it wasn't everything that they're making off reasonable doubt isn't always split up equally amongst all the owners.
Interesting.
I'm not love you, Jigga, but you know what I mean? Like
these are things that like
people, plays are known to have been made that sometimes are more beneficial than for. All right. So with that being said, right? Once again, if I'm Dame Dash, you're Dame Dash, the biggest thing in my resume, that's like, okay, let's choose another example, because this is going to broaden the conversation going on with music, right? Where we look at Dipset, right? Jim Jones, Jewels, Cameron, and
who is like also in Dame Dash's catalog.
all right. So you see where I'm getting at. Now, if one of them niggas decided now, I don't know how their stuff is currently split up, but say if it was divvied up evenly like how it is, right? Say the Diplomat album, classic album, right? Say now Jim decided to be like, yo, I'm gonna make this an NFT. Cameron, Harrell, Jewels, everybody, Dame, everybody, cool, you can say something. But to put in that paperwork, it's kind of like when you're trademarking. I don't need to tell niggas nothing. I have a window. Trademarking is what, 2 years? For y'all to get your shit together and come for me. If not, when that midnight, that's why you see those shows with the lawyers running to the skyscraper like, oh, what this, like just highly stressed, because that's what it is. Like, we know all the things and the culture and the this and the that, but when you're looking at the black and white, Dame can do that. Jigga has full right to sue, but whoever...
I mean, when you break it that way.
And that's just what it is. And now these are the type of stuff that will happen that now encourage us to be like, push the conversations further, figure out what rules, because now this is creating a conversation where niggas are like, yo, does this mean that every man could come now for a classic album or whatever and just NFT it and do whatever they feel and just make all this bread, and then we're made to, you know?
I mean, yeah, as a first step, sure, yeah, you can do that. But ain't nobody gonna
okay, so let's quickly till we have to go. We get really wrapped up in like our conversation. So we definitely want you to let everyone know, Tilly, where they can find you, support you. We really had great combo for you, but we'll have to say that for another time.
Part 2, girls, because I'm on 7:15 now, so I've got to eat and pack.
No problem. We understand. So let everyone know where they can find you, where they can support you, where they can join you for yoga, all the things.
Okay, yeah, come follow me at Rastiapath on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and you'll find all the information there. Website to www.rastiapath.com.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Tilly. Big love.
I just
Yes, everyone, that was Tilly. She had to go. We're definitely gonna, guys, have her back so that you guys can get a full dose of her, because obviously Killa and I, the conversation really going. We had a certain time frame. She has to go. So shout out to you, Queen. We love you.
Big love. Thank you so much. We'll see you
as we were saying, right? So now can every person with a classic album or whatever go now and NFT without having to seek this permit? Like, where do those guidelines come in? So when disruptive things like this happen, it now forces us to think. So I wanted to call Mr. T for it. I don't know if he's available.
Yeah, let's try that. But like, while you're calling him, I also, going back to like Dame having like a very definitive personality that we all know and love, I kind of feel like we were talking in January about the celebrity being dead. And I kind of see these celebrities pivoting and kind of making themselves schmees in certain places. And when it comes to Dash, it's almost like the NFT play. It's almost like he tried it to be like, yeah, I'm a nigga with big balls, I'm gonna try it. But even if it doesn't fucking work, who cares? Because it's gonna land me this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then my next thing is like, it just doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, so I guess he's cool with legal entanglement for like years on end. And that's just what it is.
Let's see.
And I guess you gotta have to have that like.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. T Ford, this is Kay Killa from the EFP podcast. Are you available to talk?
I am. How are you guys doing?
OMG.
Wait,
Hello.
can you hear Killa?
I can. A little bit.
Awesome.
Sorry, 1 second. My apologies. My apologies. Yeah. Sorry. Killa, are you able to hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. T, can you hear?
I can.
Okay. So we were just chopping it up about this Roc-a-fella suing Damon Dash for trying to sell his share of an NFT it at an auction.
Yikes.
It was a lot, and Killa and I said a lot, you know, but I'll kind of give you a quick synopsis where it was just like, well, Killa, you can let him know what you were saying versus.
For me, yeah. I mean, Dame would be that ballsy, but you know, mans have the money and they're going to have you in litigation for the next 25 years. So my thing is, one, like, what happened? What changed? And to me, it's not just a matter of opportunity, because he chose reasonable doubt. He didn't necessarily outright just choose his biggest, the biggest part of his catalog. Everybody loves Jigga, but reasonable doubt is his first real gold mine in the game. You understand? Like, he went for that. Why didn't he go for Diplomat? Why didn't he go for another one? So, like, what really happened?
No, I agree with what Killa's saying. And one of the bigger questions is, I think a lot of people need to understand is statutes of limitation. So, how long was that contract for reasonable doubt for? Someone mentioned 25 years. That sounds about right. And to be honest, 1/3 of whatever is your piece to do as you please. Now, another question I have to kind of hit people with is, if the relationship is good between these two and they maintain such a close bond, would there still be a problem?
I would say yes. And that's what I was trying to discuss that with Killa, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're like a crypto guy. So we kind of should be calling you when we're talking about these things. But I was saying, like, I was just like being fair on all aspects because I love both of these kings. But it's just like, if you were Dame Dash and this was the largest thing in your catalog, or the thing that people most like, this is the thing that will bring you back to not bring you back, but, you know, bring you to another level, this would be a huge play. He would definitely make millions to billions off of this play. And I'm like, what would you have done if you were him? Just sit back and not try to run the play and wait for Jigga to run this play on you yet again? Or
again, I'll reference his 1/3 stake.
That's what I'm saying.
Stake is up to you to do as you please.
But this is why I keep asking, did he NFT reasonable doubt, or did he NFT?
And I answered you. I said reasonable doubt.
He said reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt
is suing.
Right. But he's saying about the 1/3. 1/3 is a share. So that to me plays back to, okay, so he's selling his stake in Roc-a-fella, and it just so happens that he's going to take whatever he owns in reasonable doubt along with that. Those are two different things. And that's what I keep saying. Like, that has to be quantified. Like, you actually have to sit down and say, so which one is it? Those are two different things.
Exactly. But another question that comes up is, with the sale of Roc-a-fella, this is not the first time. Roc-a-fella's first sale was about, I want to say, $500 million. So taking that into consideration, how does he still have his 1/3 to sell after selling Roc-a-fella? That's another question people have to ask, that maybe tied into this whole suing. Because in the suit, technically, if he sold his stake in Roc-a-fella and he cashed out on that 500 M's, what is he NFTing right now?
But he's NFTing off the hype.
According to what they said reasonable doubt. I'm not clear if that's like album cover, if that's songs, if that's like vlogging stuff that they, you know, I was talking about the fact that, like, Dame Dash, those are one of the first people I knew to have all these like home recordings kind of esque of what they have going on in their camp and letting us know and see what was happening. So I'm not sure if maybe that's some of the stuff he's NFTing, but I'm just kind of like, that's the emotional part in it for me, where yes, Jigga could have definitely just seen this and let it go by. But at the same time, he's like, this is a humongous money play. And anything with my name on it. Sorry, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. But the thing with that is, it comes down to who owns what part. So, like you mentioned, the visual, the actual video of that whole process, that may be on Dame's camera. That may be something he personally has ownership of. Wow. So the whole thing with the NFT space is it boils down to who has ownership of these things. So he could sue, but the whole NFT area is not regulated right now. So good luck tying that up in court or trying to do what you can. You're still fighting a battle with a playing field that
is non-government regulated. Exactly. That's what I was saying. And I was just like, I get what everyone's saying on like everything else. But when it comes to that black and white, technically he's doing nothing wrong. And I was drawing a parallel, like when it comes to like the world of like air rights, because that was a space where at first it wasn't regulated. Niggas was just building everywhere, building. And it took until someone did something that they were like, hold up. So we're going to create this. And this is what we call air rights. And if you have this, then this person or whoever is building within this area cannot be more than 5 stories high, 6, whatever the case is. And we're going to see that develop over time when it comes to the culture and how people are maneuvering and learning how to be like in this NFT space, because it's emotional. It's emotional. And both of them have enough money to spend legally to see this play out. And that's where it gets nasty.
Again, I think here the big winner of all of this will be the culture.
Yes.
Because now, for the first time, this would have to be the biggest NFT for an album release. It'll have to be the first time that you see an iconic person fighting for it or against it.
Facts.
To keep their money. So definitely, it adds value to the whole NFT space. So I think it shouldn't be a Jigga versus Dame thing. It should be okay, let's see what we all get out of this. What can we learn? What are we able to apply to our own NFTs or how we decide to put them out?
Huge learning lesson.
It's an excellent opportunity.
Huge learning lesson. Yeah, so that was definitely, we tried our best.
Eat fruit and mind your business.
But, you know, it's interesting. As I said, I'm going to be glued to this. I'm going to be watching this because this is the first of the first. So let's see how this plays out. Let's see what's now formulated and all that from this. Is there anything else you want to ask? Yeah.
I'd like to play devil's advocate.
Oh.
What if they find a way to amicably deal with this and share the profit?
That's beautiful.
But then that would mean they would have to heal all their other shit from all those years ago. And they still haven't dealt with that.
I don't know. It is a bag. They may allow everything to proceed because of the bag and then split it like they've always done. But I think it's a step in the right direction either way.
So playing devil's advocate one more time, like what happens when Dame tries to move this large sum of crypto out of the crypto space and it goes back into a jurisdiction that is actually governed and regulated?
It's his bread. There's no rules for that yet. So it will still be his bread.
But that's the thing, like when it comes to those type of situations, they'll go on reasonable doubt and what you can create as precedents.
Here's another thing I don't think people are considering. To create that NFT and actually give value to it, a certain amount of investment is required to mint that NFT token.
Sorry.
So going to be...
That was a part of it as well. So Roc-a-fella is unsure of how much Dame Dash has minted. So that's another unknown factor to them, right? But technically, now you'll have to draw up paperwork similar to like a warrant now to be like, all right, first we got to figure out how much of this shit you minted.
That actually changes everything. That's just gray area on gray area.
Right? Because they're already saying, all right, they blocked it through the auction. Because remember, they said they tried to contact the auction place. They got it to, be paused or stopped. And they're saying, according to them now, Dame Dash is running around trying to figure out another place where he can auction this off. But they don't know how much he's minted or mined.
That's it. So that means that question is still a question. Like, we don't know if he minted reasonable doubt or if he's minting his stake. We don't know what he's doing. We just know he's running through his catalog, possibly.
Well, it said reasonable doubt, so I'm assuming the first album. But to both of these gentlemen, this album is, I don't want to say the staples of their career, but very monumental.
See, and that brings another question as to, well, who has rights to which monument and period of time? And to be honest with you, the music industry did a horrible job of that. And for the first time, you can track and actually do correct accounting about that through blockchain and through actually minting it.
Like
so
was saying, the transparency. Yeah.
Yep. So even if, looking at it like this, if Dame Dash is providing transparency for that album, regardless of what it is, shouldn't he have the ability to do so being part owner of it? So I really don't know how this will play out, but it's brought about a lot of good questions about the space as well as how it relates to music.
Facts.
Because technically this is probably even newest to the music industry.
Facts.
This is going to revolutionize the industry. The industry is built on the lack of transparency.
Well, it's not the newness, because as I was saying earlier, when you look at it, right, say this was something to do with Dipset, right? There's a reason why we see Jim Jones has not NFT'd that stuff. There's a reason. He knows the reason, but there's a reason why instead he got his own coin, Capo coin, and he said, you know what? Let me just deal with the music I've been releasing from 2019 and further. I'm not even gonna, because maybe he's seen and he did not want to be at the forefront of what this discussion we're having now. Because that's what it's going to be. And niggas going to see this and be like, eh. And it's like, but I can. Show me the black and white.
Absolutely. And I think that also relates back to who owns your stuff. All of Jim Jones's catalog from that time would be 100% owned by him. There's nobody to ask. You just do as you please with your catalog. But when your catalog has, split sheets that, other people have to get paid off of, so that's another question. Based on this album, that album had a couple features on it. Will he be transferring any gain from the NFT to Memphis Bleak? Is he going to be transferring any of those NFT funds to any of the producers?
And it gets sticky.
How are you on that bag? So I can understand why a suit would be questioning a lot of this. Yeah. And remember, suits aren't always about money. Sometimes it's about the transparency. They need to see what you're making so they can request money.
Yeah.
So I think this may be what we're looking at is a request for transparency on a request for transparency.
Yeah. I agree because, as I said, they don't have all the things. They don't know how much was minted, etc. But they definitely are like, yo, this is something that potentially can be the biggest tech NFT music sale in history. So you don't know if, as you said, in the spaces that are regulated, Killa, how this is going to affect the brands or the parts that I own once you NFT this, or if people have access to this, does this make, we don't know. So this is a learning experience for everyone. And the lawyer's doing what they should do. Sometimes, rich people, as you'll learn, as you're going on in time, like suing is not, oh my God, they're suing. Like sometimes it's just what you gotta do. It's just the way the paperwork gets processed. We just feel differently because we know the history between these men and we're like, But like when a white man wants to figure out what's happening, I feel like the word is sue.
Word.
It makes sense. It makes sense because you get someone that's outside of the issue to kind of
come and
mediate the whole thing. So you never know. It may just be Jacob's way of figuring out what he's worth in the NFT space.
And see what I'm saying? Because oh my gosh, we could talk about this forever, but that's it right there, because there's that value, there's Dame's value, like a lot of things are being affected. Now, would you say this is a time to buy more Ethereum?
It's always a time to buy Ethereum. The way I look at it, there's a form of investing that Warren Buffett usually champions, and it's called dollar cost averaging. The price may go up, the price may go down, but your overall goal is to stack as much as you can. So you're happy when the price goes down. You're not necessarily sweating because you're in for the long run. So this is one of those examples. You don't know. You don't know where this is going to go. You don't know how it's going to affect your remo. The best thing to do is be prepared. The more prepared you are, the more you're in position to take advantage of the opportunity.
And part of that preparedness in these, you guys laugh at me. I'm always talking about 2050 and 2025, but this is it, because the government's about to change. You see that, where was it? Oh my gosh, where in the world? Oh my God, somewhere now officially accepts Bitcoin as an official currency.
El Salvador.
Yes, El Salvador. So now the currency and the way the things, kind of like when you watch Hunger Games, like or even John Wick, how they had the gold token, their own currencies within that world, where it's just like, all right, now you need to have that lawyer money up, because you don't fight with words in this space. Like, you fight with words, but you don't fight with like all cussing. That does not, no, you need to have your lawyer money up. You need to have your crypto up, so that when stuff is moving in this space, you have room and flexibility to make these moves. If you don't have no crypto, what are you arguing about? If you don't have a wallet, what are you nagging about? You couldn't have it anyways, because you don't have the stuff set up to do it.
Exactly. And right now, where we are in history, there has never been an opportunity for everybody to hop into something so easily. The learning curve is going to be there, but the access is there. And I don't necessarily think it will always be this easy.
Word, 100%. I mean, the fact that it doesn't even have regulation and governance means that it doesn't have walls for its competitors. Because to me, that's what governance is for like the Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah.
Mr. T. Ford, when it comes to crypto, is there anything emerging that you feel the people should be researching outside of maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Research outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Yeah, so like Bitcoin and Ethereum are like the easy investments. People can easily just drop their money in there and wait to see what happens. But what do you have a coin or a few coins that are poised to maybe do better or have good prospects that maybe these people should be researching?
I know you asked him, but personally, I feel like great buying, but it's like I talked about last week. There's 3 tiers or other sections to this: buying, selling, and saving. So now we need to broaden the way we're thinking, and it's cool to buy all these other people's coins, but like we said, having our own coin, we have the potential now it's a level playing field. So why are we not focus on mining? What are things that make mining easier? What are the different places you can mine? Can I mine on my phone without my phone battery dying? Like, it's great shelling out your money, but you can also be earning or finding ways. It's like when people say you can work in the medical field without having to be a doctor. This is where this comes in. But sorry, Mr. T. Ford, you answer, but that was my answer for...
Great feedback, great question. So I would say the best place to start is education. And once you understand the layout of the whole crypto space, you're able to make those choices a little bit easier. You understand, well, okay, I want to have a plan where I stack crypto. I want to have a plan where I invest. I want to have a plan where I'm investing in new technologies or new coins. So regardless of whatever it is, you're going to have to be educated. So the first point of reference is definitely education. Then once you do have that, find something that aligns with what you are already interested in. So for me, what I was realizing is a lot of the crypto are pretty stiff and can only do things like, you could hold it, you could buy some things with it, but the coins themselves really didn't do much. So after doing some more research, you find platforms like, or coins like Polkadot that are built on the Ethereum chain. So while you have the big coins like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, there are other coins being built on these platforms. So it may take just having a little bit more research into Ethereum, into Bitcoin to figure out what is coming out of these coins now. Because that's where the most opportunity will come from. Yes, you can stack and hold Bitcoin, but you're going to want to get ahead of what's coming out next and understanding what that new rollout will look like, how it will affect the other coins. So I'd say education is always going to be your best friend in this, and definitely keep an open mind.
Yes.
Word. That's dope.
Since we have you on the line, we were speaking earlier about, just Father's Day. And I was kind of just sharing, I felt like it was kind of shitty this year in the sense of like, I didn't really like how I seen the opposite gender kind of acting towards our men. And seeing that you are a man, right? I figured I'd love to ask your perspective just on like Father's Day and just, we had Tilly on earlier and Killa. We're kind of just discussing like Black men not really having that space to like talk or nurture or like express how they really feel. So what are your sentiments on Father's Day? Was it good for you? Was it bad for you? How do you feel about the whole fathering thing?
Well, I have no offspring of my own. I do feel like I do father a lot of these children that like to think they're men. So I feel like I also see a lot of things that they may be missing or having issues with. While I'm saying that, I'd also like to say that I'm in mild agreement, but what I did see this year that I didn't see much of is record dads outside with their kids, record dads at the park, record dads, just stepping up a bit more. In my personal circle and just outside, I've never seen so many dads at the park before. So I feel changes are happening and things are being done. That's not to say that, women or people don't have a reason to feel like they weren't, or men weren't really stepping up like they should before, but kind of just being able to objectively look at everything, I'd like to say that there are improvements happening. I'm seeing a lot more of things I didn't see that much of before. But does that mean people aren't sick of the overall, I guess, direction things have been going in or have been in? That's understandable. But personally, I like what I'm seeing. I'm liking the changes I'm seeing. I'm liking the questions that are coming out of it. I'm liking that there's even a space for, some Black men to say that they feel like they're not being heard. Because I don't even think there was a space for them to complain before. So these are all little things that have, incremental changes and hopefully long-term effect.
Word. Your
How do
perspective.
you guys feel about this past Father's Day? Have you been noticing the same things, or
No,
what's your take been?
I saw a lot of bitter females on my timeline. And it was sad because I'm like, at some point along this storyline, like, you chose a nigga, like, y'all fucked, like.
There's that. For me,
I get it.
I opted out of Father's Day, and it was because I was just bus, but it wasn't hard for me not to. And I've been thinking about that during this episode. It's like, I just kind of said, well, I'll say Happy Father's Day to this father because it's convenient. Like, it's easy. It wasn't hard for me to just do it.
Just give it out. Yeah.
But outside of that, I wasn't going down the whole list of them. I was going to bed. I'll catch you on Monday. I love you. I really do. But I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, I wouldn't have been able to do that on Mother's Day. Like, I would not have been able to do that.
You'd be told how you were the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also thinking about to just be like, bro, this is not a real day. Like, neither is Mother's Day. It's not a real day. Like in real life, like you know what I mean? So I'm just like, I know, I guess I'm sounding like the men that would be like, oh, Valentine's Day, I love you every day. But like, oh my gosh, like just.
No, but at the same time, I see the need for acknowledgement. I get it. And the best way it was put was by a comedian who says, Mother's Day is the second most popular holiday after Christmas. Father's Day is number 18.
Oh, wow.
Number 18. I don't know 18 holidays.
Facts.
So that in itself shows you just kind of what the mentality is like around the topic.
That's bad. That's bad. Wow. So not being a father, if that's something that you're like looking forward to or going about, like, how do you see yourself breaking those like generational curses moving forward, just as a Black man, knowing what you know?
Well, as a father figure to a lot of these other guys, I feel like a lot of the aspirations are there for some of them. A lot of the responsibility is there, but also there's a lot of healing that's needed. So it's not something that, people are going to just wake up within themselves and be a perfect person the next day. It's a process. And in that process and in healing, the biggest thing is understanding. So with understanding it all, I'm looking to just pass on what I know in any way I can, whether it be, kind of just being a mentor to some of these guys or being a father of my own. It's just, I think the biggest thing is understanding from all sides.
Yeah. And then when you look at it, it's not something that usually gets extended to men specifically. And I hear all these things and I think of Kevin Samuels and what he was saying, and just like, well, when do men get to go back to being men?
That's a great question. And the thing with that, I think something else that has to be added without the toxicity. Be a man without the toxicity, because this world and just how it's been built is pre-wired to have, just the toxic behavior and the toxic mind state and all of that just attached to being a man. So one of the things is going to be, actually overstanding this and, stepping into that role, leaving out all of the toxicity. So it's something you have to be mindful about.
I know, like you mentioned before, Mr. T. Ford, just as a man feeling like all women do is sexualize you versus like all the other things that men contribute to the world is like you're seen in this one lane.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the times, it's not just guys, it's women too. I think this world was over-sexualized for a long time. So a lot of the main benefits that either group can provide are kind of hindered by this whole over-sexualization, the want or pursuit to be perfect. It's just a lot plaguing them. I think people need to just, number one, get back to just real emotions and feelings, and then get to a point where they learn how to communicate them effectively. That's always going to be step 1 and 2.
Facts. Thank you for your time. Killa, was there anything else you wanted to like discuss with Mr. T. Ford before we let him go?
No, that was yet another awesome meeting of minds.
Definitely. Let everyone know where they can find you, where they can support you, anything you may have going on that you want to let everyone know about.
Definitely. It's Mr. T. Ford on Instagram. I am willing to help anyone interested in looking into crypto, investing, life in general, but talk to me nice, please. And I'd just like to remind everybody again to eat fruit and mind your business, literally and figuratively.
Hey.
I like the killer drop. The new killer drop is definitely fire.
Thank you.
Respect.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Yeah, I'm sure we'll all catch up at some point. So thank you guys, Mr. T. Ford.
No problem. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You as well. Yes, Killa. That was very fruitful. I love that. Fruitful. So we gave a lot in pineapple fruit. The last thing that we'll discuss, because we're tech and there's a lot of tech things happening. Guys, you know why? Because the world is opening back up. We're not going to go back into the same world. So these are all the changes and things that are supposed to make life better. And with Jeff Bezos going to space next month and all these things, I'm paying attention. Okay? I'm paying attention. Now, with that being said, Spotify launches now the Spotify Green Room, which is pretty much Clubhouse, just on Spotify. So what are your thoughts on that, Killa?
I found that interesting. And also, yeah, like great idea. But also you made it for Apple and Android. So instantly, like you seen what Clubhouse could do with the little sect that they decided to reach out to, and you're just like, forget it. This is a no-brainer for us. I think it's a great idea. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with it. It's like you just never really know how it goes. I find that if you're not somebody that's savvy with algorithms or with social media-esque platforms, at this point, Clubhouse is kind of the ghetto, very similar to Instagram. But then I have to think that like, is the Spotify community, it's supposed to be for the artists, but like it's supposed to be open to the people as well, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think like in the press release they were kind of just describing the fact that like it's a space for artists, producers, and like meeting of the minds to kind of just have conversations related and have interactions with like celebrities and stuff of that nature. But I just feel like this, if there's a time to, no, I don't have no ads from these guys or anything, shout out Spotify. But if you want to join this, if you want to be on that, I feel like now is the perfect time to join before all the riffraff and all that dumb shit starts happening. Similar to Clubhouse, you've seen the wave. For me personally, when I'm going on these apps, being someone that's kind of like aware of my presence in the tech space or what I want my presence to be, going into these apps, I kind of already have a mental gauge onto, all right, this is how I want to approach it. These are the kind of people I want to add. So personally for me, I would mostly probably be doing verified artists and people that I know are seriously maybe in this music thing that I can have intellectual and great conversations with. I'm not necessarily looking to follow any of Sue's listeners that listen to her music monthly. So I'm interested to see what different vibes it gives. If it's giving anything that gives, I'm going to give it a fair shot. But I love the fact of like we said way before, but these mans are coming out and they're coming out with their own things. And like Coin, you could come out with your own things and it's more accessible and attainable to accomplish and do these new things. So to be honest, Downtown World, we could technically come out with our own. It's just a matter of you're getting your coding done, you're getting your app work done, you're getting your skins done, all of those things. But I'm excited to see what it brings because Spotify is a place where a lot of Apple's up there. Of course, we know the entities Apple and Spotify, but a lot of people more like to rely their numbers via Spotify. You see people throw up their report cards, all of that. So you know that I would say more the people and indie artists, I feel like I would have a better opportunity to get to meet them on Spotify versus and being on there, you kind of already know it's going to have to be something to do with music, the arts, or entertainment versus like Clubhouse, talking about everything on there. I can find a spiritual room to an NFT room to like rooms in Iraq, like all types of things. So I don't know. Let's see how it pans out. But interesting. And I know there's a bunch more that people have mentioned that like are coming out. Apparently one for like Black people only, like everyone's kind of, so it's bubbling.
Okay. And a Black app. I'm down for that too.
Yeah. So that I will say is pineapple fruit for this week. We definitely had more to talk about, but we don't want to like bore you guys to death. So definitely if you're enjoying the conversation, you enjoy what we discussed, you want to talk more about things that were discussed, please make sure to hit us up you can follow us on Instagram at Eat Fruit Pod. You're able to subscribe to us on YouTube, have a conversation there. And we want to say as well, thank you guys so much again for your feedback so far this week. It's been truly amazing. And thank you guys just for being a part of that with us. Special shout outs to Madalena Deller on social media. You gave us some great feedback on the show and told us how you're eating your cherries and thinking of us. So thank you and shout outs to you on that. Shout outs to Buddha LA. She said it was a bomb episode. So thank you for the love, Queen. Let's see who else we got. Cody Wilkes. He gave us some feedback too. So shout out to you, King.
Yes, that's babe.
Said he was making dinner and vibing out. So thank you for that love. And then when I said when we said thank you, he was like, thank you. So thank you. And yeah, like that is just a snippet of the feedback we've gotten. But shout outs to Amethyst. Always love Queen. Thank you. We gotta have her back on here. I feel like she's gonna be a resident. Yeah. She's a whole vibe. So like truly guys, we thank you so much for your like true support and just feedback and going on this journey with us. And I feel like we're really building that EFP family. So with further ado, we gonna get into our play on vogue for this week. Let's go.
Right. So I'm really gonna take this play on vogue to have a caveat from last week.
Okay.
There's a few other things that were happening, and it just kind of goes to show that as much as things can change, some more things can change. Still a great day on set. It was awesomeness. What I forgot to mention is it was actually quite a multicultural set, specifically when it came to our community's numbers. The director was Black, the makeup artist was Black, but also there were at least 3 or 4 crew members. And that's pretty monumental, not just to have like a director, but to have other Black crew members on set at the same time. The conditioning was to be okay with being the only Black person in the room, and we were definitely represented. And on top of it, the talent, which is Caffrey and myself, are also Black. So it was a good day on set. But it's always interesting to parallel and say that like, as much as things are changing, like change has its own evolution and its process. And some people just kind of like rest on what they know. And the person that I had to deal with for this commercial, my contact was extremely unreliable. She insisted that she was texting my phone, and she wasn't. It was, and she insisted it all up until I had to call her and say, so we were supposed to discuss a revised rate, and we haven't discussed it. The commercial's already been shot, and I haven't heard anything. And her response to that was, oh yeah, I got busy and I guess I forgot.
Sometimes you just have to curve a ting,
No, sometimes you think I'm the ting and I'm the one you're curving. And I was just like very calmly was like, cool, that's like neither here nor there. But I had to take in my 24 years of experience with this nonsense and be like, all right, so this is also a woman of color who doesn't happen to be Black. And for her, she's still in that old mindset of, I can be microaggressive and just kind of like disgusting to the Black woman. It doesn't really matter if she was talent on set. I, as a model minority, can do whatever I want, because this is what I've learned from society. And for me, I was just like, I've been in this industry for so long that I've seen it before. So I was just like, cool, not a big deal. Caffrey handled it up until the shoot time, But when it came to the bread, I had to handle it. And I just had to look at how she dealt with me. And I'm going to have to call her back. But I'm going to play some old school shit that she isn't ready for. And I'm going to find out who she answers to.
Where's your boss?
Where's your boss? And it's not even a, where's your boss? I want to talk to your boss. It's a, so here's the invoice that I have to give you with the appropriate rate so that I can get paid. Here's my 60-day clause. But also, so when you said you were calling my phone, I'm wondering, when you text, did you call my phone? Did you leave a voicemail? Because I didn't get that. But I need her boss to see that as well. And that's not a petty thing. That's a, so you're not doing your day job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on set to get a job done. You pay the talent. You tell the talent when they're supposed to be there from that. She told Caffrey that she was calling me to tell me when the shoot was. The shoot day changed. It was supposed to be on a Saturday. And I had to get her number from Caffrey and call her to get her to run me through the fact that there was going to be a commercial. This was before she said, yeah, we're gonna book her. They didn't even let me know they booked me.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you have a model and you don't let the model know that they've been booked? Now, in my age, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, the high level of disrespect that you can give any model. Models can catch that at any time.
Yeah.
Models are just disrespected in general.
Yeah.
But for me, there was that whole air, like she was very dry with me every time she spoke to me. And I was extra dry back to her. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm reciprocating.
Legit.
Nobody did you nothing.
Legit.
You know? So like, what's this energy?
What is it?
And it's just one of those things, like you experience it more than once and you're just like, oh, I'm a Black woman and I'm in a position to get attention. Legit. But not only am I in a position to get attention, I'm not smiling up my meta-humanness for you.
And we do that sometimes. When we see us in there, we feel like we can deal with it. Like it's our aunties or uncles. Still be professional. Give each other that respect. And even when proven wrong at times, still give that respect.
Word. Yeah, I feel
that is so the part about a 60-day clause, is that like how long they have to run you your bread?
Yeah. And they can choose not to, but that's going to be their marker to know that if I don't get my money, they're going to hear from me. And if I can get her bosses, whoever she reports to, just their email address, that's going to happen.
It's shady. And I feel like even if it's something where it's out of their control, they're trying to get it, I feel like just keep the person in the loop. Send a text back. Let them know what stage you're at. Hey, I'm just waiting on 2 more signatures. Hey, I'm just something.
I'm just like, you get out of bed, like all anybody's asking you to do, and you agree to do it, is your job. So like, why not present yourself as a professional? Like when did those rules kind of just change because you decided that they changed?
And see, and when niggas are like, you know what, I need 80 to 100% before I even fucking go and put this soap on my skin to get ready to do whatever it is you gotta do. These are the situations that makes people not move on faith. Why the gas station, some of them make you pay first before you get your blood clot gas, because this is it. This is it right here.
That part. Like, guaranteed I'm gonna get my money, but
definitely,
like I said, after dealing with that, it's like, so you don't even negotiate a rate with me anymore. Now I just give you a rate, and if you can't catch it, you don't catch it. We don't work. Okay, like maybe next time. And I think that's what it's going to be moving forward, is that I'm just going to have some base rates.
And there's that. But thank you for sharing that, because I didn't really fully think about that. But yeah, like, I don't know why people always try models as if like y'all aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, for them, they feel like we're replaceable. We're like the most replaceable thing on a set. Like the crew members are invaluable because they're the only ones that know how to make all the settings be what they need to be. But like even young people like her, she's some form of assistant. Like she's extremely disposable. So it's like have some respect, son.
Extremely. So, yeah, Killa, it's your play on Vogue. So, was that it for this week?
That is it for this week's Play on Vogue, Life of a Model. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you're winning and you're catching a little backhand at the same time. Do shining.
Yes. So that was Play on Vogue this week. Yeah, all around, I just want to say, like, it's so beautiful to see these queens winning, and whether they're Canadian American or not, they're Black, and that's what I love. So
yeah, win all over the world, yo.
All over the world, you guys are doing your thing. So super proud of you. I feel like we had a very fruitful conversation today. Love it.
Right?
Love it. Shout outs to Tilly again, Queen. We are so happy to have had you. You are amazing. Love always. Okay. And we definitely got to get her back on here so we can actually do the Tilly.
Yeah. I really wanted to talk to her about like the breathing and stuff. Like,
yeah, we didn't get to do that.
Her breathing go throughs are like really her routine.
Really I could imagine. So, yeah, let everyone know our sponsors for this week.
All right. So we have Saint Lucie for the natural butters and scrubs. We have Icy Little Tings for the waist beads and beaded jewelry. And we have Big Killa for Ace to You for the merch and NFTs, all things artful.
Yes, and you also have official merch from DWNTWNWRLD.com/shop where you can get your merch, support your queen.
No,
my bad. where you can support your queen and support Downtown World and all things that. Yeah, I leading with love and going into this week with more love, and I'm excited just for everything happening. God has just been blessing us, and I'm grateful for that. And I don't want to be ungrateful for that. And I was watching, I was telling Kelly earlier, I was watching the Elton John biopic or Rocket Man. And I look at it and I'm like, in the midst of him having tracks like Benny and the Jets and Yellow Brick, all these beautiful tracks, and people are enjoying him and screaming his name, all these things. And then it's like his parents, I don't want to say disowned him, but wasn't showing him as much love as you would think Elton John would be getting at that height in his career, fake or real or not. And it just goes to show you, whatever it is that you can't be looking at family or be looking at who you think was supposed to be playing that role, because God's going to show you who else can play that role, or who is not meant to play that role, or that role ain't for them, whether you can see it at the moment or not. So don't let, your parents, your family, your friends stop you from pursuing your goal, because a lot of times they cannot see the vision that you seen or you heard. So with that being said, that was just my little random rant, but I just think about it, like all the things that I maybe said I wanted to do that I didn't do when I was younger, because the people around me couldn't conceptualize what that was about, or they never thought of anything like that for themselves. So they felt like it was okay to be like, look, y'all, go and go sit down in that one corner or something. Like, nah, you go and sit down in the corner and watch me run this. So let's go with that energy and
eat through and mind your business.
And mind your business.
So yes, guys, that's been EFP for this week. Love and blessings to you all.
Yeah. Blessings, shelling out the blessings down.
Did we forget anything, Killa? Is there anything else you want to say that we didn't say before we go this week?
No, I just feel like the Libras came out and just Libra it up, Just
perfect.
It up.
We did